And and this lid, once it goes on, and you just have to make sure it's also watertight, and then it also blocks out the light. So when you have phosphate, there's going to be two reactions going on, and we're going to be taking these two pills, and I hate to say, but they're kind of hard to see because they look very similar, but where it says phosphate LR number 2, LR number 1, and you have to take one pill of number 1 in this, put it in here, put your liquid in here, and we're going to crush it, and then we're going to put number 2 in and crush it, and the reaction is molybdenum is going to react with the phosphate, and over 10 minutes of time, if there's any phosphate, it'll turn bluish. And there's a very specific orange light, so there's a color wheel picture I had in there that the color didn't come out. But when orange light goes through, it's hit into a blue solution, it gets absorbed by the blue. You see blue, it's on the opposite side of the color wheel, but it absorbs the orange light. So this machine is going to measure how much orange light is being sent initially, how much comes through, and it's going to determine exactly what your concentration is. But if I go through the procedure with you, I'm going to start at number 1, collect the water sample. We've already done that. It's in these jars, all right? So I've already got your samples. And what you're going to do is prepare the blank in the test tube. You're going to get, using the syringe, extract 10 milliliters, and what you might find, I'd say go past and check to make sure that there's no bubble. And you may have to, you don't want to hit the ceiling or anything. You can try to squirt really fast into the waste container, and then you can also extract more fluid if you want. And you want to get exactly 10 milliliters into, it's best that in one of them you have exactly 10, and that's going to be where your test is. The one that is called the blank solution, that could be a little bit over, it doesn't matter. There is a line on here that's exactly 10 milliliters, and you could use that to do that, but I find, so there's something called a meniscus, I just found that something that wide was harder to read, and you can get a much more exact quantity, and we think, we don't know for sure, but we think that you needed to get exactly 10 milliliters for these two pills to work correctly. So we don't know if these are in excess or whatever, but
Jared, how are the pills crushed? Are they crushed dry?
they are crushed dry. So
Okay,
no, I'm sorry.
With the
You put them
solution.
in. You first put the liquid in first. Put pill number 1. Crush. It does not dissolve entirely. I've tried going for a couple of minutes and it didn't go entirely. Then you put number 2 in and crush that up. All right.
So there's a sample in there already?
Yeah.
So there's a liquid sample in there.
Okay.
And you're gonna have plain sample with nothing in it at all.
What is
That's
the
called
blank?
a blank.
So
So the idea for the blank is it's going to tell the device, okay, if
That's
you put that
the
orange
zero.
light through, it should be 100% in, 100% out. So it calibrates the machine to say, whatever light is coming in, we're going to dial it in as if it's 100% coming out.
So
So
the blank is just
still-
like water.
The still
It-
water.
It's going to be this water.
Oh, it is.
No, it's still the sample.
It's the
Oh,
sample.
sample water.
It is the
Okay.
sample water, but with no pills.
With no pills.
Oh,
Okay.
That's
Okay.
got it.
Whereas this one is going to have the 2 pills. And then the device is going to tell you what to do. It's really kind of cool. So number 3, you press the start button, and there's like a little bit of a delay sometimes when it starts. It takes like a second or so. And then you're going to select a particular test. So there's a button here that says select test. If you press that, and then you can scroll down to phosphate LR. I gotta be getting close.
Well, it's alphabetical.
Good.
Phosphate
There it is.
LR,
Mhm.
which means low range, okay? And for our purposes today and probably for the next couple of weeks, it's gonna be 4A, the unfiltered. You're not gonna worry about using that filter that's in the other room right now. And so you can pick the phosphate LR, and you see where it says load, a label, click to add?
Mm-hmm.
If you click that, I have already entered in, or we could do, just call it a test today, test 1 or test 2, but I've added in the names of all the lakes. So you just pick your lake, and then when you're at it, so I make that simplifies things, I hope. Then you make sure it's dry on the outside. I'm gonna pretend that I've got water in here right now. Here's the blank. Here's the test sample. And then I'm gonna take this lint-free thing, and I'm just gonna make sure that there's no water and no fingerprints on it. On this jar, or on the test tube, I'm sorry, there's a diamond. And you'll see a little arrow right here. So you want to line, when you put in, you need to put in, there's a point here where it says blank or measure. So down here in 6, dry the outside of the blank test tube, put it in, and then hit blank. But I'm not going to do that right now because I've got nothing in here. So you just follow along. It's just going to take seconds to do that. And then dry the outside of the test sample, which is right here. Same thing with the cloth. Put that in, line it up, diamond to arrow, but then you're going to click measure, and that will be blue at that point, I think. And then in 10 minutes, it will count down. You'll watch the countdown, and in 10 minutes, the test is done. Now it'll be disappointing right now because I'm going to try to get out of that. It's going to be disappointing because the samples, it's cold. The lake's just thawed. So you're going to be getting a reading that's going to say less than 0.05 milligrams per liter, which means it could be anywhere from 0 to 0.49. So it's too low for it to record. But when I did this in November, I got 0.09, so I got a positive test. Paul got 0.11.